I'm Anthony Oleszkiewicz. I'm a film major. I'm 19. As a kid, I loved old video cassettes. We had those puffy Disney video cassettes that had, everything from classic Disney movies like like Lady and the Tramp, and also really not classic Disney movies like Angels in the Outfield. I personally really loved all of those movies, and those composed such a big part of my childhood because I didn't spend a lot of time outside. And so I really ended up loving filmmaking by just watching movies all the time. My parents then introduced me to real movies, those being things like Star Wars and You've Got Mail, movies that are well made and well crafted, and I was started to get into who actually makes these things. And I'd watch the bonus features after the Star Wars video cassette that would say, George Lucas being interviewed and say, it's like poetry, it rhymes. And I loved that, and I couldn't get enough of that. And so it really got me to appreciate that there's more that goes on behind the scenes than we give credit for. And so I got into that. Later down the line, my father's cousins made these very weird kind of backyard films. They were all based on other properties. So one of them was a Star Wars film, one of them was a Pirates of the Caribbean riff, and one of them was Lord of the Rings and Batman. And they made these in their backyard or in the forest preserve or at people's houses. And they were not very good, but they were fantastic to me, who was like 8 or 9 at the time. And I thought, man, I can do that. If they can do that with, their camcorder, then why can't I? And so I would go out with my friends with the camcorder, and I thought I was them. I'd go out and film us with our plastic lightsabers, just having a great time. Or I had a mask and I was the Phantom of the Opera. And so we just had a great time. For a long time, though, I thought I wanted to be an actor because I liked seeing the people on screen. I liked seeing my own face on screen. The problem is two things. When you're a kid and you want to be an actor, the first option that you are presented with is to go into theater, and I can't sing. Never have been able to, wasn't able to as a kid, and so I could never get past like the audition phase for any kind of theater. And that kind of crushed me a little bit, but the other thing was that acting in front of a camera was always a little bit more of a challenge for me. I do better in front of a person or in front of a stage. And so when I actually turned a camera on me and tried to do more filmmaking type things rather than theater, I realized that I got way too nervous. Maybe I'm not so much now, but it was way worse when I was a kid. And so I realized I liked being the guy behind the camera. I liked the one who was holding the camera and pointing at other people and saying, no, you do this. And it worked out pretty well for me so far. In the future, I want to make all kinds of stories. I've never been one who wants to settle down for just one genre. I want to be remembered as the filmmaker who made films that changed people. I want to be able to make movies that didn't necessarily have some big political message. It's not like this movie is a Jordan Peele film that has some very specific kind of agenda behind it, or I don't want to make a film that has a big moral behind it, but I want to make movies that paint a certain picture of life, that make you that really shape you, and that's why I'm so attracted to kids films or teen films, because I think that those shape people. I don't care which I make, as long as at the end of the day people remember me and remember me fondly. I don't care what specifically that legacy ends up being, as long as I touch some people's hearts.